3 is apparently at least somewhat on the board. Possibly it's not necessarily happening, but Miles Teller was telling somebody that it would be great, but that's all up to Tom Cruise. And he said it's all up to Tom. I've been having some conversations with him about it, though, so we'll see. Which, I don't know how I feel about that. And there's more to this, not this story, there's more to Top Gun, and we'll talk about in a minute. But I loved Maverick, by the way. I thought Maverick was one of the best movies of the year. And I was blown away by it because I thought the original Top Gun was just fine. That was, nostalgic, but I thought, I have a review of it, you have a review of it, everybody has a review of it. Go check those out. But I thought it was fantastic. But I also don't really see the need for a third Top Gun. I guess I kind of put faith in Tom Cruise. I think he makes good choices. The guy's pretty solid. When he comes out with a movie, it's going to be, they're not all like, the best movies, but they're all very entertaining, and he knows he's a good entertainer, so I think he makes good choices. I just don't see, granted, I didn't see where Top Gun Maverick could go either, and I was blown away by that, so maybe I'm the idiot here, and there's another story there that could blow us away just as much, but just hearing this, I'm like, no, we don't need that. Just leave it alone. Leave us with that legacy sequel and move on. Don't sully a good thing.
Tom Cruise at this point can do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to do a Top Gun 3, even Miles Teller says it. If he wants to do a Top Gun 3, he's going to do a Top Gun 3. He's worried about Mission Impossible right now. I did hear someone talking about how maybe after Mission Impossible, he may just kind of put the kibosh on these franchises and go and do something that will cement his career. But if there's a Top Gun 3, if it's Joseph Kosinski again and it's a movie as awesome and entertaining as the second one, then fuck it, bring it on. But I don't know, it's one of those weird things where no one thought this movie would be any good, and for a fact that we never went in this movie expecting it to be not even maybe top 5 grossing of the year, and it's $1.1 billion.
I didn't even think it was going to be good, much less make
exactly
this much. I know if he wants to make it, it's going to get made. If Tom Cruise walked into Paramount right now and said, Top Gun, I want to make Top Gun 3, 4, and 5, they'd be like, okay, sure, no problem. I just don't know if it should, but I guess we'll find out. Once again, they're talking right now. It might not ever develop it. I'll go ahead and put, regardless of what people think about the guy in his personal life, I'll go ahead and say, Tom Cruise has been pretty solid in his choices. So if he decides that, hey, we need to make a Top Gun 3, I'm going to say, well, there was something he deemed worthy, and it'll probably be entertaining. We're not off the Top Gun subject as of yet. There is one more interesting bit of reporting, I'll say, that had to do with Top Gun, and it's similar to what we talked about with Taika Waititi, but this is from a totally different person in Hollywood, and I thought this was kind of funny. Apparently Mickey Rourke is chiming in on not just Top Gun, but Tom Cruise. I want to read this just so I get it all right. Mickey Rourke was being interviewed, who knows why, but he says of Tom Cruise, the guy's been doing the same effing part for 35 years. I got no respect for that, said Rourke about Cruise making a Top Gun sequel. I don't care about money and power. I care about when I watch Al Pacino working, Chris Walken and De Niro's early work, and Richard Harris work, and Ray Weinstein's work. He continued, that's the kind of actor I want to be like. Brando back in the day. The kind of guys who tried to stretch as actors. You're not that right now. When Rourke was asked by Morgan if he thought Cruise was a good actor, he replied, I think he's irrelevant. The fuck is Mickey Rourke, of all fucking people, seriously calling Tom Cruise irrelevant? I mean, think what you want about Tom Cruise. You can't call the guy irrelevant. Are you fucking kidding me? And Mickey Rourke? Where the fuck have you been? Last movie I watched you in was that one with Michael J. White, which I love him, but what the fuck was that? Nobody knows what I'm talking about unless you watched my review of it, because nobody saw that fucking movie, because it was shit. It was terrible. I mean, what's the last thing that was big that he was in? The Wrestler? The Wrestler was after Sin City. Yeah.
Iron Man 2?
Yeah, we don't talk about Iron Man 2. He's sitting here calling someone irrelevant, not to mention that the person he's calling irrelevant is literally one of, if not the biggest movie stars in history. For damn, he's got to go down in the history books. I mean, it's Tom fucking Cruise. How's Mickey Rourke calling him irrelevant? Plus, going back to what I said about Taika Waititi, that's just not cool, man. That's like shitting on someone else who's in your. I mean, does he have beef with Tom Cruise? We don't know about. I don't know, but just to go on record and saying he's irrelevant, that's kind of shitty.
This nonsense makes me laugh because if there's anything that Tom Cruise has never been, outside of that small period when when he was jumping on the couch and stuff like that, is irrelevant. The guy makes some of the best blockbusters of all time. His career, like the Fast and Furious, somehow got better as he got older. The man is 60 years old, getting ready to put out 2 Mission Impossible movies. The guy is good. Maybe some movies you don't like. Maybe there's War of the Worlds in there somewhere where it's not great. But you can't tell me that this guy.
Hey, I like War of the Worlds.
No, but seriously, like, Mickey Rourke is an individual that had like a great upcoming career, and then he went crazy and decided he wanted to box people. And then he kind of had a resurgence with Iron Man 2 and with The Wrestler. And now he's doing, as you said, doing direct-to-video sequels and movies. And it's like, is anyone who says they're irrelevant, you should not talk. Sin City was 20 years ago. Stop talking like you think everything is important to you. And it's just, I've heard, I keep hearing horror stories about what he's been known to do. So he's a guy that just, like Gary Busey, is just off his nut.
Yeah, and even with like the Sin City thing, that was, I think he wasn't even, I mean, he was definitely one of the stars of the film. But I think the star of that movie was Robert Rodriguez. He's the name you hear. People don't talk about, oh, Sin City, Mickey Rourke. I mean, they do. They talked about how it was kind of a comeback for him a bit, but he wasn't even like the main star. Really, the star of that movie was the director because he put all that together and made it happen. But, I mean, we could even give him that one. Beyond that, and The Wrestler, he's been in movies, by the way, people. He's out there. He's in movies. I have some of them sent to me. I just don't watch them because they look like they're going to suck. And they usually do. I mean, from what I can tell. The one that I did, the 2 that I picked that he did watch, and I viewed them and reviewed them, but not good. Not good at all. I mean, that just blew me away. I mean, there's not really much more to talk about here. I mean, unless you got something else to say, but I just find it in like really bad taste to shit talk people that are within your same area that you work in. And that's any work. I mean, that's if you're a fucking cook somewhere, which hell, cooks they talk shit about people all the time. But if you're talking shit about somebody who does the same job as you that's in that same area publicly, yeah, that's fucked up. That's kind of shitty, especially as public as these people's lives are. I just find that really shitty. Apparently, everyone, Tom Cruise is irrelevant. Just letting you know.